Awesome. Welcome back to another live lifts. My name's Dr. James. Welcome. And today's stream is about plyometrics. I'm going to introduce this as part one of plyometric training to lead into your strength work. So we'll talk a bit more about that today. If you want to learn more and know some secrets to getting stronger and how plyometrics work, we'll be speaking about this today. So I will talk about it as we go through it. Let's get this squat bar off because we're going to use this area. Right, so I'm going to get started and then I'm going to introduce what it is and tell you a bit more about it. But it's very, very important, particularly if you're trying to get stronger and stay injury-free. And in a way, what we'll talk about as well, in a way, you're tricking the nervous system into allowing the muscle to stretch more to get a stronger contraction during that concentric phase, which we spoke a lot about as well. So if you're just going to go and lift weights and going to do your power and strength training, you're just going to rack out all the reps and you're going to be the strongest man in the world, you might want to take a step back for a moment and just consider incorporating some plyometrics into your program. It is used at the highest level of sport, and there is a lot of research around it. First used by a Russian guy with an unknown date, actually, but then it was the term plyometrics was coined by an American coach around 1975, and essentially plyometrics means to measure. It kind of translates from Greek as like measuring the movement. It's kind of increasing the measure. It kind of translates roughly like that. But essentially what we're trying to do is, we are going to do plyometrics today. What we're trying to do today is using this phase of our season because remember it's September, so we start a strength season now. We want to use this phase now to prepare the muscles and tendons and ligaments and joints to start doing really, really heavy weights. That is all the stuff that we do in this channel, all the basic functional strong stuff. But we need to prepare properly because we don't want to be getting injured. So you can do this periodically, as in integrated in throughout your strength season program, or you can do a phase of it. I personally choose to do a phase. I like to use this in the September time for the first 6 or 7 weeks, do it for 6 to 8 weeks or so in the research. There is a link to the paper that we're referring to today in the link to the description of this video. So we'll talk more about it now, but I'm going to get going because I don't want to cool down. And first of all, we're going to start with some basic jumping exercises. So we're going to do there's going to be some jumping, there's going to be some box jumps that we can do as well. I've got the elastic bands ready as well. And today is largely going to be a lower body plyometrics exercise. I'm going to do one upper body for the lats and for the back, because that's going to help get this stretch through the lats and through the back. And then, because I'm going to do some heavy squats today, and I'm going to do some upright row from the floor, because that's going to give me that power and explosivity. So this phase of the program is about building that stretch response. It's about getting that power and explosivity, and ultimately then navigating our way into doing pure strength work, which we can. So I'm going to press on. I'll talk to you more as I'm going through. But it's more about, I've got to show you rather than just talk about it. Do you know what I mean? I've got to really show you, and we'll talk more as we go through. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is just some basic jumps, okay? So if you're a beginner, start with something very simple. You don't have to do all the high, because there's low, medium, and high level exercises. You don't have to be doing the high level stuff. Start with something very simple. It is very demanding on the joints. It's very demanding on the muscles. The recovery time will be a bit longer, and we'll talk more about that as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with some basic jumps, okay? So I want to get deep as possible, and this is only the first set, all right? So full stretch, and essentially I can already feel like that is the first set. Like your muscles and body knows that you've not done any jumping yet. But you'll notice when you come to the second and third set, you will start to feel more and more powerful as the muscle and the tendon and the nervous system reacts to the demand on it. So you've got a neurobiological response going on where we are telling the muscles to be more powerful and more explosive. So you can treat plyometrics just like any other The current literature suggests you can treat it like any other exercise. I'm going to do 3 or 4 sets, and I'm going to do 5 or 6 reps. But the most important thing that you've got to do, the intensity has got to be there, because you want to hit the type 2A and type 2B muscle fibers. They are your fast twitch fibers, and they come when you are doing explosive, intense work above 80% of your potential. So again, recovery, 50, 60 seconds. There's no consensus on how many reps or sets or what you should do, but there is a consensus on intensity and working about 80% to target the right muscle fibers. So I'm going to go again. And now I can feel myself even more powerful. I can get higher. And again, it's sub-max work. The intensity is there, but you're not going to failure. It's still sub-max work. So you're working about 80%. The first 20-30% is thought to be slow twitch fibers, and then 50 to 80 and 80 above, 50 to 80 type 2A fibers, fast twitch, and then above 80 and above type 2B kick in. Because the recruitment of your muscle fibers, the theory is it works on a stepwise increment of recruitment. So the more you tell your body you're doing, and the intensity is higher and the demand is higher, your body knows to recruit more. We spoke a lot about that in other streams as well. If you remember the how to supercharge your squats stream, if you look for that one. Whew. I'm getting higher now. This is just a basic vertical jump. That's fine. Whew. Good. So now we're going to do another one. I'll bring you a little bit closer for this one so you can see what's going on. Now we're going to hit the hamstrings, and I'll show you, and I'll talk to you about the phases. So the good thing with plyometrics is you don't need to do every single exercise, a myriad as it's described. You don't need to do a myriad of exercises. You can just choose a select few. You don't need to overcomplicate it. So now I'm going to work my hamstrings. So I want to get that stretch. This is really important. So the first rep here, look, I can get to there. That's not very high. So that's about 90, 80 degrees. The main thing now is I've got this elastic band here too. Give me that stretch. I want that stretch. I want to feel that stretch right under there, right? But the main thing now, just watch what I do and I'll talk to you about it. Look how high I'm getting now. That is really high. So I can feel my hamstring stretching there. Woo. So this is the phase one. Phase one essentially is your eccentric stretch phase. So I want to hold on to this one. So this is a stretch in the muscle now, right? Now I can feel that stretch loading up on the muscle. Now, so that's your first phase. That's your stretch phase essentially. And then we've got something called the amortization phase, which is the bit where I reach my full stretch, and then it has a feeling on the muscle of tension, and at that point between there and my contraction, that's what's got to be really explosive. It's the most important phase to generate that power. And then, so you've got stretch, amortization, and then concentric shortening phase as I power my hamstring through. So, here we go. one. So that stretch phase, I've really got to focus on that limit. That's where my power is generating. And notice, this is only an elastic band, so I'm going really light, so there's low risk of injury, but I'm still getting the benefit of the exercise because I'm getting that nice stretch on that hamstring right at the end of range. So the intensity is there by getting that muscle to really, really, really stretch out. That's what I want. And that moment where it's stretched and then you want it to contract and then you're shortening, that's what we're tricking the body into contracting stronger, because it's actually the concentric phase of the muscle as we curl. The common thought is this is our most powerful movement, the concentric phase, when we flex that bicep. Sure, there's power there, it is moving, but actually the power is actually generated at the stretch of the muscle into the contraction phase. The better your stretch, in simple terms, the better your stretch of the muscle into that concentric phase, your concentric contraction, the squeezing the muscle, will be much more powerful than concentric flexion, concentric contraction alone. You will notice that a lot of the problems that you have when you're trying to get stronger, it isn't lifting the weight per se, because you can lift it up. It's moving with the load in those key moments. So it might be when you're deep down in the deadlift, squatting deep. It might be when you're doing back squats and you're in the hole, as I like to call it on this channel. You're deep, deep, deep in the hole, really down here. That's where you're going to fail. That's that stretching point for the hamstring and for the quads and the hips. Deep, deep, deep. It's not when you're up here, you're fine. You're fine here, you're fine here. It's when you're coming through this phase. It's when you're coming through this phase with that load on you, there to there. That's where that explosive power comes from. That's where the muscle is stretching into that amortization and power through to get that contraction. That's what we're trying to work on. So let's keep the intensity and I'll talk to you some more. And the same applies for bench press. The bench press, when you're bringing the bar down to your chest, it's not here or here that you fail, because you're in the mid-contraction phase. There's a lot of crossed over muscle fibers there. They can get it out, no problem. It's when the guys and girls are down here with the bar, that stretch on the pec down here. I'll show you more in a moment. Keep this intensity up. I want to get that stretch on my hamstrings. And we'll talk about progression. So I'm getting a nice stretch on that hamstring there. And I want to make sure that my stretch and change of direction, if you like, into that contraction is as fast and as explosive as possible. That's a tight hamstring. I'm really working hard to pull that down. But I really want to get that stretch going. Wow. So we'll just do one more set of that. So as I was just mentioning, the same applies for the bench press. When this bar is coming down, the negative phase, again, you're lengthening the muscle, you're giving the feedback to the muscle spindle and the tendon. When you hit this point, this is where your chest is going to stretch. That's where you want that drive, because it's the difference, it's the changeover in the phase of lengthening muscle to stretch, holding that, and powering to get traction. That moment there is when you're going to make or break and do the lift. It is also the moment where, if you look very closely at the videos of the guys you see who are bench pressing heavy, that's the moment that they also get injured. You will see the muscle fibers just tear from their chest at that point as they contract, as they go to press. It's because they, probably on steroids, but also, which doesn't help your tendons, by the way. That's why a lot of them get muscle tears. But in that moment there, that's where they've not, so they're on steroids, but they've not been doing their plyometrics, because if they were, it would reduce the likelihood of getting an injury, because you'd already worked the muscle and trained it to work through that stretch phase. So I'll talk more about that in a moment though, with the how the muscle spindles can dampen down the Golgi tendon organ and dampen down the tendons, because inside the tendon it's like a regulator. The Golgi tendon organ is like a regulator where it tries to prevent overstretching of the muscles, and it tells the brain to say, no, stop there. But we want to dampen that down, so we do that by doing plyometrics to stretch the muscle spindle, to tell the Golgi tendon organ that it's okay, we want to work at this stretch range, it's safe, and we want to generate more power, so then the brain will recruit more power and you get that explosivity. That's why the intensity is important. So we're going to do, so we've done some vertical jumps, we've done some hamstring, we'll do one more set of hamstrings. I'm going to go up to a purple band now. So in terms of stepping up and regulating your plyometric progression, I've done this for a week or so now. I've been working on the red band because I've just started. Remember, it's the start of the season. You can also modify and progress plyometrics by using a harder resistance. You can do more reps and sets. You can have less recovery. You can change, you can keep your intensity high, of course. You can change the height that you're going to jump at. You can still play around with it like all other exercise modalities that you do, whether it's number of reps or sets or whatever it might be. So don't be afraid to play around with it as well, guys, as we do on this channel. There's no fixed or set rule, because of course there's no consensus. The only consensus is that it works. So I'm going to do another one now, but this is a bit stronger. I'm getting more stretch now because this elastic is giving me more pull, and I'm having to generate more power against more resistance now. So this is really important to prevent your hamstring injuries. But remember, it's just one exercise, one choice of many that you can use, whatever's good for you. That is just keeping the intensity high. So all this preparation phase, this is what you don't see. This is what the guys don't show, or they just don't do. That's why you're getting the benefit of doing it here on this channel. And it does help. Work and use your neurobiology and your neurophysiology to your advantage. So again, I'm not going to fail you, but I know that intensity is there. We'll keep this up because we want to, I'll show you some upper body stuff as well, because I want to work the lats. Right, we'll do some jumping. We're going to do standing box jump, and then we'll do some more dynamic box jumps as well. Right, so hamstrings are nice and warm. Good. Let's start with some basic box jumps. So basic box jumps, here we go. So I'm here, I want full stretch, full down, and I'm up. Look how I'm getting my knees as high as I can, right up to my chest. And I can modify it, I can step further back as well. So I've got to generate more power. The most important part is, as soon as I hit the base, at my lowest point, when my bum goes low, that's where I need to power from. That's the bit that's going to make the difference in getting that intensity and getting that contraction. As soon as I stretch down, whew. So different variations. Double leg box jump, fine. Single leg, you can do to the side. You can do some hurdles. As long as you are getting that intensity and the change from stretch to power, power through. At that moment, you feel the muscles just pulling. So plyometrics, it's commonly thought of as the missing link between power and performance, or strength and performance. It is used by a lot of healthy level, high level elite athletes to enhance performance, but it's also used in rehabilitation for those who are returning to sport if they've been had a long layoff, been injured for a while. They need to get back to that ability of being able to be powerful and explosive again after not performing because they've been injured. So it's used in end stage rehab programs to get them back to doing functional physical demands, to get that adaptation back to where they need to be to perform. So we'll do some more box jumps now. And remember that, so modification, I can adjust the height of this as well. So for the second round now, we can get a couple of plates on. And remember, if you're starting out, don't worry. You can start with something really, really simple. So 8-9 reps, I felt that was just hitting my 90 to 100% of ability. I would have started failing. So get yourself up as long as the intensity is there. Now, there's three ways to hit this. Intensity, electrostimulation, to stimulate the muscles to contract. Intensity, electrostimulation, and speed, how fast and explosive you're doing it. Now, I'm not using any electro probes on me to give me that electrical stimulation. I'm just working on speed, intensity. So we want the maximum amount of force in the shorter space of time, right at that moment of stretch. Right, let's go again. Last set. Oh, it's getting a bit easy now, isn't it? I think it's a good one. So that's getting easy now. It was hard at first, but now, because I've been stretching and generated more power, I could try and get a bit higher. Hopefully I can get up this one. Yeah. Look how high I'm getting my knees. Right into the chest. Ah. Not as easy as it looks. Most important phase. I think this is one of the most important phases, strength training, but either people don't show that they do it or they just don't do it at all. So, I'm happy to be sharing today with you. Right, we'll do one more set of this, and then we'll do some bounding jumps. One-legged work as well. And I'm choosing to do one-legged work now because I feel that I'm at that level. If you feel that you're just starting or it's the first time you're doing it, go light. You don't have to do anything complex. So you just do some simple hopping, skipping. So as long as you're getting that stretch and you're shortening the phase between stretch and contraction. But you've got to be fit. The essence of fit, it came essentially from trying to improve the performance of track and field athletes. Now let's do another one. Woo. Right, come on. Intensity, intensity. Deep, up, deep, up, deep. Ah, all right. One more, come on. Ah. How do you know it's working? You will feel a progression every time you do it. You feel yourself getting higher, longer, faster, further, more explosive. But also, when you're actually doing it now, you'll feel like pins and needles. Not a lot, pins and needles, not like obviously, but you'll feel that recruitment. I could feel it. I could feel that recruitment down into my legs, that demand that it needs to be. Right, let's do some, we'll still with a double leg. We'll still do some double leg stuff now, over the boxes. And then we'll finally do the single leg stuff. I personally like to do the single leg hopping last because it's very demanding. And of course it needs a good warm up. Now when I'm a few more weeks into this, so I'm going to do this about 6 weeks or so. When I'm a few more weeks into it, I might be able to switch that around and do single leg stuff first and then double leg stuff later, because I'll be a bit fitter and a bit stronger. But I want to gradually increase it, and that's my increment modality over the next few weeks. So let's do this now. So we're going to do some compound, explosive, really fast, sharp jumping over the boxes. So we're going to go on, off, on, off, on, off. And I'll show you how to modify this as well. So the start for me is about 1.5 meters, and it's about stretch, power, stretch, power, stretch, power. So you can see there how I've done that for the first round. So I'm going to stop talking now and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to stop talking now and just do it, because you get the idea. But as soon as I hit that lowest point, I've got to power up again to jump over the next box. I'm going to go box to box, on, off, and then I'm going to move to progress that to go over the boxes. Woo! It's getting hot now. So, let's do it. A few extra jumps at the end, so bound through it. Stretch, power. That is tough. That is not as easy as it looks, I tell you. Last round. Last round of box to box, and then I'll do over the box. It is very demanding on the joints. It has to be. So if you are, if you know, if you've got a bad joint, you had a previous injury, you know, ease yourself into it. You've got to warm up thoroughly. You've got to have some basic elements of strength and power. Go with the easy stuff if you're starting out, but it's very important. It will get you stronger, of course. Whew. So, last one, box to box. Another progression. I can also increase the distance between the boxes. So I'm having to jump further, more power in that long jump phase. But I'm going to do box clearance now. See if I can do it. Woo. So we've got to get right over it. So the stretch here, I've got to get my knees as high up into my chest as possible. I'm really trying to get that contraction from the base right deep down. Bit more recovery, still recovering. I think I've covered all the most important principles today anyway. I will do some more streams because there's upper body stuff as well for the shoulders, because the shoulders got some very interesting physiology. The shoulders have got some very interesting anatomy and how the shoulder works in terms of its recruitment, particularly with overhead movements, which we do a lot of overhead movements on this channel, the pressing, the lifting. So it's vital. Woo. Preparation, so important. Like, I'm more than happy to sacrifice a few weeks of just getting straight into the heavy work, the strength work, to do this preparation phase. It's so worth it. So do things properly, no rush. Right, let me get over these boxes. Woo. Box clearance. So this is going to be one of the more high level ones, but I'm happy to introduce it because I feel like I'm fit enough, and as I say, I've been doing some of this off camera as well for the first couple of weeks just to get into it again. So clear the box, clear the box. Nope. No, can't clear the box. Can't clear the box. So now I know I need to generate more power. Do you know what I mean? Now I know I need to generate more effort to get over that box. So that's why we do it. I think it might be too hard. So I'm going to lower the box. Yeah, again, increments, you've got to start off with an achievable level of performance. Obviously that's too high for me, so I'm going to go a bit lower. I think I get over it. The thing is, this is longer now, it's not high. So. It's different. Yeah. Heavy squats coming up. No power. No power. Fuck. Start again. Come on. That is hard. Wow, that's hard. This is damn hard. Wow. Wow. Whew. So we do some single-legged stuff. I just finish off with some single after done this one more round. So we do some single-legged hops, and then we should be ready to get on with the squats. So we do some heavy squats, and then some upright row from the floor. That's a really explosive exercise. It's a nice combination. Woo. Come on, clearance. Full power. So if you're just starting out and it's your first time doing plyometrics, you're going to find that it can take up to 7 to 10, yes, 7 to 10 days. Wow. I was quite surprised when I was reading about that as well, because you commonly think, oh, I've got some muscle soreness, DOMS, you know, it'll be fine, and it comes on the day after the training, and it lasts for 2 or 3 days, and then you kind of don't feel it after that. But actually, when you're doing plyometrics and you're new, your DOMS and your recovery can be up to 7 to 10 days. Now, you may not feel the muscle pain, so you will for the first 2 or 3 days, but you may not feel the muscle pain, but it is still recovering. The joints, the ligaments, the proprioceptors, the joint capsule, the sac, the tendons, the muscle fibers are still recovering. So the chemicals that cause that muscle soreness would have been cleared and broken down and metabolized, but the actual reparative regeneration phase that the body then undertakes can take 7 to 10 days. Now, fitter athletes, dare I say like myself, I don't get DOMS. I did the other day because I had done some plyometrics for my shoulders, my traps, and I felt my neck was really sore and really stiff. So in areas that you're a little bit unfit and the muscles haven't been challenged and tested, you will get some soreness. But in general, I haven't had much soreness from this. I could occasionally feel like my knee or my hip or my ankle go, ooh, a bit stiff. I know I've done something, but there was no out and out DOMS and soreness that I was like, ooh, I'm really, you know, hobbling around the place for a few days. So do take it easy when you start, and remember your recovery time, because it is very intense on the muscles, bones and joints. I'm going to do one more set. One more set, and then whew, we'll do some single-legged stuff. See, now that's the 3rd set. I feel so much more powerful now. I just did that dead easily. So again, your body is constantly responding to the recruitment. Yes. No, couldn't get over that. Whew. No. See, I'm getting to my 80% now and get to my maximum. Whew. Wow. So I'll show you some single leg stuff that you can do. And keep it simple. If you're not wanting to bound, hop, 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 you can do some simple hops. But you've got to go to the level that it's going to be intense. I personally like to do hopping onto the box. Get that explosiveness of hip contraction. Get up. You can go to the side as well. For example, you can mix it up. Again, full stretch. And the other one, which is really good, which we'll do today. So I'll show you. I'm not doing any one-legged stuff because I'm going to do deadlifts in the next session, and I'll work some one-legged stuff then. But I'll show you some lunging. It's really good. So the emphasis here being on stretch, contraction. So I'll show you this. For instance, I need a step, because as I step on with one foot, as I go into this lunge position, I can get that stretch across the front of my hip flexor, my quad, and all my hip flexor muscles. And I'm also getting a stretch from my hamstrings on the other leg here as well. So you can do basic lunges here, which is fine, but you're not going to get much of a stretch unless you widen your stance. Now I'm stretching here, but actually that's a length for the depth of your, for the width of your stride, length of your stride. However, this raised platform gives me depth. This is giving me depth to my lunge. So I'm getting in a much deeper lunge position here. Now I'm going to finish off with this one because this is quite high level, because it's getting really, really deep into it. Single leg work. So I'm using one leg really to push through. Progression for this, you can hold onto some dumbbells, or you could wear like a weighted plate or weighted vest to weigh you down. But my emphasis here today is to demonstrate and show it's about getting that stretch power as quick as possible. That explosiveness. So we're doing the set now. So you've got to be honest with yourself about the intensity as well. And I'm just going to drive up. That's hard, 7 reps. So as long as you're getting that stretch and power as quick as possible. Just watch your knee on the corner there. You're gonna bang your knee on the way down. But that's hard. Woo. So, next one. Stretch. Power. Stretch. Power. Power. See, I could do 11 reps then, which was a bit more. Good. Right, let's do some squats. Oh, in fact, I'll show you some upper body lat work. I'll show you one upper body version of lats to get the plyometrics for lats. This is the first one I'll show you today, and then I'll show you another one in another stream. But the most important part of this, which I'll share with you now, you really need to be looking at the bar. I'm going to go where that red band is. But we'll start with the red band because it's least. In fact, we'll start with the purple band because it's more assistance. So you need to keep your eye. The most important part is, not me for once, the most important part is to keep your eye on the bar, to stretch. Remember, it's the same principle to stretch, contract as quick as possible. So I want to get that stretch through, and I want to, when I'm fully hanging on the bar, I'm going to pull and then look at my hands. I'm going to let go of the bar. Then as I'm falling, I'm going to grip the bar again to get more stretch, and I'm going to stretch down again. But I've got this band on me for assistance. Then we can progress that by doing the red one, because the red one is thinner. So this is the first of the upper body ones. And when we do an upper body session, when we do back or lats, I'll show you more upper body plyometrics, but today's largely lower body. But because I'm going to do squats and some upright row from the floor, which is powerful and explosive, I'll show you some lat work as well. So this purple gives you quite a bit of assistance. So, whew. Now, so this band is giving me some assistance. It wants to pull me up. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stretch down. Are you ready? Stretch, pull, pull, pull. When I'm at the bottom, my body is stretching. My lats and biceps are completely stretching. So, I'm a bit out of breath. I'll get a cap off this. There we go. Bit of chalk. Bit of chalk for the loose. So you can see the principle today. Hopefully you can see the back there. The angle's okay. The emphasis I want you to really understand is the importance of slightly different angle. But I'm definitely letting go of the bar at the top, alright? Because it's working your forearms and your bicep as well. You're getting your bicep stretch as well. And then we'll do some heavy squats and upright row. So I'm in this. I'll do one more set on this. Now maybe you can do underhand or overhand. It's completely up to you. I'll do some overhand this time. So I've got, watch now, I'm going to stretch down into it. There's my stretch point, right there. Watch, just there. So I want to come down there and bounce into that as fast as possible. Wow. Hopefully you can see the stretchiness straight on here. It might be a bit better. I'll move on to the red one now, because the red one is going to give me much less support because it's thinner. If you haven't got one of these, they're really useful. It's a good place to start. So I hit the biceps a bit more by doing underhand. That's tough. Gotta let go of the bar at the top and grip, get that grip going. It's gonna help the forearm grip flex as well. Do one more. Maybe do some back squats. Upright row. Excuse me. Whew. Stretch. Two. That is it. That is tough. Get that away from the squat there. Right, let's do some squats. Now we do our heavy strength work. So that is prep all. So now we get back to classic. squat bar. Now we should be well warmed up, so we'll get straight into some weight on the bar. We'll get 60 on. Right, the plyometrics are done. Now we do the strength work. So I'll do I chose to do about 6 weeks of this. I'll do some plyometrics before I start doing the heavy loaded strength work. And then I'll just purely be into doing strength work through October, November, December, racking on those, racking up that weight onto the bar, change my shoes, like I'm squatting flats. So I'll do probably part 2 and then part 3. I'll do today's obviously a leg squat session, upright row. Then I'll do a upper body bench press, shoulder press, plyometrics and upper body, and I'll do plyometrics and back. So the 3 main areas should cover it. And then I'll get back to streaming as and when really throughout the strength season. But I'm really, really happy with my progress. Like, found really the sweet spot in terms of being at a healthy weight, burn fat off, maintaining strength, and feeling good as well, like not feeling like completely dehydrated or starved, or going into ketosis, so people starve themselves and dehydrate themselves. Like, you want to feel good and feel happy and be in shape. So hit the sweet spot. Right, let's do some heavy squats. Woo, here we go. First set, 60. So nice and warmed up. So now, the emphasis now for doing that plyometric work is power. See, a nice, slow, steady negative phase. Power up from that base. So now, that negative phase is so important. So after doing all our explosive stretching, when I go now loaded into that deep stretch squat position, my Golgi tendon organs aren't working to inhibit the stretch of the muscle, because my muscle spindles that we've been stretching through the plyometrics, they are so heightened at the minute because they've been stretched and explode, stretch, explode. They have asked the nervous system to recruit more. Type 2A, type 2B fibers, we're working at 80% intensity. So the Golgi tendon organ is less sensitive, it's desensitized. So now it's not like acting as such a safety, security barrier to say, no, too far, too much stretch on the muscle. Because the muscle spindle has said, no, I need this stretch. I'm trying to explain it to you in non-scientific terms. But essentially what's happening in scientific terms is the afferent pathway from the Golgi tendon organ is a sensory bag and chain. It stretches, it tells the intrafusal and extrafusal fibers of the muscle that we need more length. It tells the tendon to stretch, it tells the sensory nerve that's traveling to the dorsal horn, the back of the spinal cord, to say, this is the sensation of how much stretch we're having. And then it tells the brain to then recruit and fire off with more power, much more contraction, much more speed, because we've tricked the body into wanting and needing more. So we've desensitized the Golgi tendon organ. That is the theory and that is the science of how it works. We want to make sure that Golgi tendon organ is not acting as an inhibitor to stop any stretch. We want to override that. Science into strength. So jump up to 80. Let's jump up to 80. Okay. Give me a sec. Whew. Jump up to 100. To 100. So they aim for 120, 130 squat. We'll do some pulls. Get some explosive pulling going as well. Hit the lats, hit the back. So that is putting the theory into practice, how to do plyometrics into actually helping it to build your strength up. Now you might just want to do a dedicated plyometric session and work on that for 6 weeks, that's fine. You're not going to lose anything from that. And then start your strength work dedicated. You may want to incorporate it like me. I'm doing half my session plyometrics and I'm going to start doing some 70, 80% squats. You might want to do it throughout the season. If you start feeling you're hitting a block or hitting a wall, hitting a moment of plateau, or you're not strong enough and you need more explosivity and power, you can take 2 weeks off, 2 or 3 weeks, a week, however you want, to do more plyometrics and then return to strength training again. Because your body, remember, is always going to upregulate, and the Golgi tendon organ will then reset and it will want to again work to prevent over stretching or over contraction of the muscle. So you have to trick it again into the nervous system to recruit in a greater contraction to override that tendon feedback. Clips. So thanks for joining the stream, guys. There we go. Let's do another set. Whew. Can't remember what we did last time. I think in the last session I did 130. So push it up, push it up, push it up. What have I done? I need to put, oh, no. Put this back on. And we've got 30 here, I've got 10 or 15. So if we put this on, that's 150. So that's nice. I believe my memory is strong that this time last year I did the plyometrics off screen and we started squatting about 130. Yeah, it was 100, 120, then 130. So I'm probably already slightly ahead this season. I'm stronger a little bit already than last season because I'm doing plyometrics and then I'm doing 130 squats. So there's a slight increment. Again, year on year, you'll find yourself getting fitter and fitter. This is how to do it naturally, how to do it properly. That's 30. We do 2-3 sets of this. It's done a lot. It's a lot of leg work. Those plyometrics are very intense. So you've got to modify your training as well. Make sure you're training. Well, essentially stimulating the body, getting that intensity is the main thing. Stretch on my back. That is very heavy. I'm going to have to reduce the weight. I can feel that. Getting too heavy, yeah. Be honest with yourself. $120. Got to do that. Yeah. Let me drop the weight. Yeah, that feels about right. That's better. Better to be honest with yourself. Whew. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, we'll stick with the 120s, bearing in mind everything that we've done already. Yeah, 130 is possible, but think it's just working above my current limitations at the moment, given all we've done. Yeah, 120 is nice. So we'll do some upright row as well. Five reps. My neck is still so sore from doing it. My traps and deep neck muscles are so sore from doing the plyometrics over there. It really finds out your weak spots. Beautiful. That feels much more like achievable and still stimulatory on the body. Wow. Good. One more set and then we'll do some upright row. We have done this one before, but fantastic for explosivity. We're down and we're pulling right up. So that's why I wanted to wake the lats up a little bit as well by doing those chins, pulling right through. There's several ways to do plyometrics for the back and for the lats. It will incorporate the shoulder. So we did one today, and I'll show you more in some future streams. Some really nice overhead things. It's quite hard to stretch your back, really. You've got to do overhead, protraction, or rotation type exercises. Set of squats. That 120 feels about right after everything we've done. So I believe that without doing all the plyometric stuff, which does take a lot of energy and demand, could probably do 130, 140. But after doing that, I think it's fair to definitely take that 10 kilos off. So be honest with yourself, if it is too heavy, no ego. No ego, just drop it down. A little touch. And you feel better then as well, like it's I can feel the rest of my body stimulated rather than kind of compensate to lift it because of the fatigue. And that negative phase will be much more smoother, and the negative phase is where all your real benefit is, in that negative phase. Probably use this bar actually. I feel those hamstrings working. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Keep the tens. Keep the 20s. It's a good combo. Squats with upright row, nice. Because your lats are working as a stabilizer to spread and control the weight of the bar across the back. So they are activated during squat. And now they're going to work a bit more directly to row this bar up, deadlift this bar up from the ground. So we'll start with 60 because we are nice and warm, but I can definitely feel those hamstrings working at the depth of that squat. And we'll feel it again now. This is a very powerful explosive exercise. So it is ideal. Right, I believe. Right there. Right, first set. Okay, here we go. Lots of power. Oh yes, this is such a glorious, glorious exercise. So that is 9 reps, which is pushing. So the weight is about right. Get those reps out. So I feel so powerful now after doing all the plyometrics and the heavy squats to then introduce this exercise and just drag that weight up with everything you've got. Next round, I think some 5s would probably just be absolutely optimal. A couple of 5s. And then we'll see if we can go to 80, which would be really good for this stage. Yeah, that's really good. Hitting the abs as well, hitting the obliques. Look at my feet as well, guys. A lot of power going through those calves. Come on, put one more in there, definitely. Full power. There's another one in there. Come on. Come on. Woo. Right. Couple of minutes and the gym is closing. Wow. Excuse me. Excuse me. Have you got the correct time? No, sorry.
It's only 4 o'clock.
Due to close, is it?
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, gym's about to close. Rapid 6. Head rush. Okay, thank you for joining another live stream. That is the part one of introduction to plyometrics. We've talked about the basic principles and use of plyometrics, why you're going to use it, how it's going to make you stronger, the neurobiology and neurophysiology of it, the muscle recruitment contraction, making sure that amortization or contraction phase is as powerful as possible just at the point of stretch. And we have done heavy squats, heavy upright row, and a lot of lower leg, lower limb plyometrics today. So, So we'll do a couple more streams on this because it's important to do the upper body, the shoulders and chest and the back, and show how that ties into the strength work that we do there as well. And then I'll be streaming again to show you more strength work and progression and updates. But of course, I think that was really good today actually. Still feeling powerful throughout the session, not feeling too tired, but knowing that I've worked at that intensity, and your own intensity when you try this of course is vital, so to get the most out of the session. This choice of exercise is very complementary as well. We'll talk more about the paper. Today's article, the paper, the research paper is in the link of the description of the video. The link is in the video description, and we can unwrap that a bit more, and I might do a dedicated research review on that because I think it's a really interesting area and commonly underused, commonly forgotten about. So if you do want to see some progress in your track and field or in your strength work or your conditioning and then your strength and conditioning work, I think the plyometrics is a safe way to do it, providing it is done safely, and that you are, if you're finishing your rehab phase or if you are starting a strength season for the next 6 or 7 months, or however you structure your periodization, then I hope you would have got something from it today. So anyway, right, thanks for doing the live stream, absolutely fantastic. I've got to tidy up, the music's about to go off, the gym's about to close. As always, we're pushing it to the very end. So yeah, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time with the live stream. Probably going to do chest plyometrics or back plyometrics today with left, so tune in, catch those streams, they will be on the channel soon. All right, see you later.